tell us, Brian, what are the big messages that you're going to be conveying to my eager clients?
Welcome to everybody who's here. Thank you very much for giving us your valuable time. I remember Jim Rohn at his peak of great speaking. He would open a seminar by saying, "Thank you very much for giving me the most valuable asset that you have is your time. I promise to make your time worthwhile. Make this a very valuable time." So I always thought about that, is if people give us their time, they're giving us the one irreplaceable asset that can never get back. Right. So we'll give it great value. Well, the question was, what are we going to be talking about at the Mastery of Greatness seminar?
Yes.
Well, something that I learned, I began studying speaking many years ago, and I came across an observation that the course of human destiny is changed more by the spoken word than by the written word or any other influence. And it is the spoken word in company with other people. As people go to a meeting, and for many years, before there was television or anything else, people would go to in-home sessions. Is the only way that people learn these things is they would get together in the home of other people, and they would invite in an authority on a particular subject, and they would talk in the living rooms and go back and forth and share ideas. And I read many of the writings of these early students, and the profound change that spending a few hours with a wise person who had devoted their life to learning these ideas makes a big difference. So when people come to this seminar, I have heard, as you have heard, that people will say, the seminar changed my life forever. I was never the same. I came reluctantly. I had a lot of things to do. I couldn't afford it. But my friend said, you really have to go. Many people have told me all over the world that a friend paid for me to come to this seminar with you. And it was the best investment I ever made in my life. So that's what you and I do, is we share things. And what happens, if you go back to the studies of the superconscious mind, is when you're in a room with other people, there's not only your mind and the mind of the person who you're talking to, but all the minds combine into an ether, and you can tap into this ether. And very often you'll be in a seminar and you'll get ideas, life-changing ideas that cause you never to be the same again. And it isn't something that somebody said, it's just something in the superconscious mind that twigs your thinking, and ever after you're different. And I know that that has happened to me. That's what happened to you.
Oh, of course. Yes. Because you can watch a YouTube video.
Yes.
But then when you go to the actual live presentation with hundreds of other people in the room, it's not a YouTube video. It is so immediate and powerful and life-changing. There's lots of virtual ways to communicate, but there's nothing like being there in person.
Yes, and being there with other people who have the same mindset. So everybody who comes to our program will come there wanting to be more successful, to be more prosperous, to be happier, to be more fulfilled in the future. So they'll come and they all have that same mindset, and it sets up this energy field that everybody can tap into. It's almost like being able to speak to someone on the phone with no wires or no lines. And one person on one side of the room can have an idea, and that idea is accessible to many other people in the room. So I remember the first seminar that I went to on personal success. I went to back in 1979, and it changed my life forever. I was never the same. I heard ideas that you and I share. Yes. And everybody learns these ideas. And I never heard these ideas about the fact that each person has unlimited potential, and that the way you think about yourself on the inside determines what happens to you on the outside. Yes. And that you have the ability to learn anything. And the more you learn, the more you can learn. And everything that you do affects your self-concept and your self-esteem. And it either helps or hurts, and that everything counts. And just little things like that, you walk away with your mind spinning. And it doesn't mean that the next day your life is going to be different. It just means that something has started, a change has begun, and you start to attract people and circumstances and books and ideas into your life that change you forever.
Do you know, I'll give you an example of that. I was flat dead broke. I was 39 years old. I was 50 pounds overweight. My boss had just fired me. My wife had just divorced me. I had no money. My parents took me on vacation to Mexico, and I'm on a beach. Brian, you have to understand this. I'm on a beach. There's 1,000 people on the beach, and they're either sunbathing or reading or chatting or whatever. And this one woman stood out, not because of her beauty or anything. She was the only woman on the beach for me. I don't know why I was so attracted to her. And I had to read the book she was reading. For gosh sakes, it could have been a Harlequin romance. It could have been a cookbook. I had no idea what it was. I couldn't see the cover, but I was attracted to that book. And I was too shy to go up and talk to her. I didn't want her to think I was hitting on her. And so I walked back and forth, hoping to see the cover. And I saw the cover, and I didn't understand the word. It was Siddhartha. I said, Siddhartha, what the heck is that? And I came back to a New Age bookstore in Toronto where I live. And I went into the bookstore and I said, do you have a book called Siddhartha? They said, yeah, there's a whole pile of them over there. I went, what? And I went over there and I read this book by Hermann Hesse about a young man wanting to be evolved, wanting to understand life, wanting to realize his full potential. And I was so turned on by that book that I read every single thing that Hermann Hesse ever read. Yes. And that changed my life. And that's just a book, not even a course, not even being in a room with people. So there's a gradation, and the highest of the gradation is being in a room with a master, with other people, and the power. Like, for gosh sakes, we've all heard every single song that the Rolling Stones have ever sung, and the Rolling Stones are out there still singing today. But if there's a concert, somehow listening to them in a concert with thousands of other people is different from just playing the music. Yes. And so I am bringing you, for all of Americans, to Los Angeles, and for all Canadians to Toronto, and for people around the world, they can choose whichever is closer, Toronto or Los Angeles. And you can be in a room with me, but also with this wise master, this Jedi master who preceded me on stage and whom I learned from when I was just a little boy, a boy speaker, and he was already world famous. It's April 4 and 5 in Los Angeles, 2020.
Right.
And May 1, 2, 3 in Toronto in 2020. And there's 2 levels of tickets. Let me just explain. There's general admission, where you come and enjoy all the days and learn like crazy, network. And then there's the VIP, which I strongly recommend because they always sell out first, and we can only have a limited number of them. At VIP level, you get a special registration desk so you don't have to wait. You get a special name tag so people can see that you're special. You're first admitted to the room so you can sit where you want. There's VIP sitting right near the front, so you get the immediacy of being really close to Brian and myself and the other speakers. But on top of that, you get an individual photograph with Brian Tracy. I don't mean a group photo. I mean you and Brian Tracy, and then the next person and Brian Tracy. But you get your own picture with Brian Tracy and lunch every day. It's an amazing deal. Click on the link and you will be able to choose either Los Angeles or Toronto, and then you'll choose either VIP or general admission, whatever your pocketbook can handle, and be there and come up and hug me and just be grateful and be happy. Because as Brian says, there's no other way to learn but being in a room with a master who has proven his worth over decades, that his words work, his learning works, his teaching works, his lessons work, his books sell because they work. And I am so overjoyed that I am finally, after all these years, correcting a mistake that I brought so many other experts to my stage, and not Brian Tracy, my old buddy.
That's very flattering. That's very flattering, Raymond. Thank you. because I think of you at the same level. I've learned so much from you over the years.